Death from above. You wanted it, then you wanted this thing, that's for sure. Welcome to a brief review of the Mi-24 Hind helicopter in action. Squadron Signal Publications, aircraft number 88. Going down a different path today with our first helicopter and our first non-American design. This thing, I think I remember from Red Storm Rising by Tom Clancy, was talked about when a Mujahideen commander, I think became Taliban later, was asked, and he said, "We do not fear the Soviets, we fear their helicopters." And this is what he was talking about. This thing could rain down a crapload of iron and steel upon the heads of the Afghan freedom fighters in the mountains of Afghanistan. And that's where it made its mark and cut its teeth. So the standard operating procedure here. We have Hans Henry Stamper is the author. Don Greer, familiar to Squadron Signal readers for a long time, and Perry Manley was the illustrator on this. First page, as per usual, has a description of an Mi-24, describing the front cover, and you see there, copyright 1988, and aircraft number 88, so coincidence there. This is right about the time that the Russians were making the decision to get out of Afghanistan, the land that eats all conquering armies, and it was doing the same to the Soviets, who had invaded December 1979 and found themselves in a Vietnam-esque quagmire. So the beginning of this book describes the development of the Mi-24, which began as the Mi-8 HIP. There is Mikhail Mil, M-I-L, who was the father of this helicopter line. And again, it first developed as the Mi-8 HIP helicopter, which was more or less a transport helicopter, powerful engine, powerful lift capacity. And these are the derivations. I guess I did show that. Yes, these are the derivations of the HIP. No, not the ball and socket HIP, but the utility helicopter HIP. And moving along, they decide to, much like the Bell Aircraft Company, decided to make an actual gunship with the Cobra after they put bombs and rockets on a Huey. That's what Mule did with this helicopter. And there you go. There's the Mi-24 Hind A. Just all types of cannons and rockets that this thing carried on it, and built like a tank, heavily armored, fast, powerful engines. And then the Mi-24, the D, the Hind, which became, I think, the definitive model of this, was noticeable by putting the covers on the intakes of the engines. Oh, yeah. I marked this one specifically. You can't find a head-on shot of this thing. And of course, the head-on shot of a Hind pays homage to Rambo, First Blood Part 2. When Rambo is passed out in the Huey sitting in the river, and the Soviet gunship is descending upon him to administer a coup de grace, and he's feigning, I guess, being unconscious, and at the last second springs up and launches a law rocket through the windshield of the Huey out and blows up the Soviet Hind helicopter in front of him, ignoring the fact that all of the emaciated POWs behind him that he had spent so much blood and treasure to try and rescue would have been wiped out by the backblast from the law rocket. But I love the 80s, and I would watch that movie again in a heartbeat. And we ended up through here. See all this other stuff. More hot rod versions. On it went. Again, the copyright on this was 1988, so this thing is still flying, still lethal. This volume is a little bit more, had 58 pages, some extra stuff than the usual Squadron Signal 50 pages. There's the back cover. And again, the front cover for the Mi-24 NATO codename Hind in action. Squadron Signal number 88. That was a good one.